Since 1965, Texas Instruments has employed thousands of Sherman and Grayson County residents. They've been a long-standing pillar in our community where generations of families have worked and made an honest living.
Growing up, we either had a parent working at TI or were at somebody's house whose parent worked at TI. So it was always a family thing in our community.
However, at the start of 2020, Texas Instruments, which was employing over 600 people at the time, notified the leadership of Sherman that it would be closing its existing plant in the coming years. Then, in June of 2021, the opportunity of a lifetime appeared.
And they came in and said, hey, can you sign this non-disclosure agreement? And I thought, oh, dang, it's right here in this office. And I thought, oh, this is going to be a bad meeting. She said, here's the deal. We've got a project. It's a $30 billion project. It's 3,200 new jobs, a state-of-the-art semiconductor chip manufacturing facility, and it's either going to come to Sherman or Singapore.
This was a world-spanning competition that would require strategic coordination and execution in under 6 weeks. SEDCO, along with the city of Sherman, Grayson County, Sherman Independent School District, and Grayson College would develop an aggressive proposal and land the largest economic development project ever announced in Texas. Sherman leadership had their work cut out for them. Texas Instruments planned to construct a 4-phase, 300mm semiconductor wafer fabrication plant worth $30 billion over the next 10 years and create 3,200 jobs. What followed was an array of correspondence, public hearings, and everyone collaborating on an enticing proposal, knowing that if one key deadline was missed, it could jeopardize the entire effort.
There was no background for this for us. There was no comp for us. And so we all went into this having to rely on the relationships that we had built in our community, in our other taxing entities, to make sure that we presented a united front and that we were collectively willing to do whatever it took to get this project off the ground.
Not only were we under a time crunch, but just the moving pieces of that. You had 313 school tax abatement, which has to get approved by the state. Economic impact analyses, we had a master calendar for everyone to follow so that everybody knew the dates that they were trying to hit, what they had to have approved at each of the city council meeting, the school board meeting by this date, and we just ushered it through.
Several factors complicated this proposal. TI would not disclose the incentives that Singapore had offered, and local taxing entities had never developed a proposal which considered 4 phases over 10 years and a 30-year abatement period. Then there were the utilities.
The city having to do quick calculations on, okay, they need this much water per phase by this date. 36-inch pipe being built. There's new pump stations. There's all the stuff that takes to get lake water into Sherman to get it processed and then into TI's production. And that's times millions of gallons. Just can we get that done?
A very aggressive schedule on their part. And it's not only aggressive for them, it's aggressive for us as well, because we've got quite a number of projects ourselves that we have to get completed by that time so that they will have the roads and the water and the other infrastructure that they need in order for them to open their doors.
With its location along Highway 75, Sherman and Grayson County leadership have been preparing for the rapid northward expansion of the DFW Metroplex through infrastructure upgrades.
It came through the work of prior councils and prior mayors. They really laid the groundwork that allowed us to be at this point today. There's a whole lot of folks, both past and present, that really helped seal this deal.
The most important factor in securing this deal was the Chapter 313 School Property Tax Abatement application. Nearing TI's deadline, Sherman leadership requested the Texas Comptroller expedite the application process, and on November 15th, it was approved. 5 different taxing entities, governed by 30 different elected and appointed officials, achieved the impossible. SISD abated approximately 85% of the maintenance and operation rate for 10 years. The city and county used Chapter 312 property tax abatement as well as Chapter 380 and 381 property tax rebates to achieve a 90% 30-year incentive. The city also offered a 25% water rate reduction for Phase 1. Grayson College participated with a 50% 10-year ad valorem tax reduction. SEDCO agreed to provide $1 million for 4 years to the city for infrastructure upgrades. With an incentive package they couldn't resist, the week before Thanksgiving 2021, TI announced that Sherman was selected. At full build-out, the 4 fabs will total 4.7 million square feet, becoming the largest electronics production facility in Texas.
Production from the first fab is expected in 2025. These fabs will produce millions of analog and embedded processing chips every single day that will be used in electronics everywhere.
In the long legacy of Texas leading America in economic development, with this being the largest economic development project ever in the history of Texas, it shows you the magnitude of what Texas Instruments is about to embark upon.
Let's break down the impact of Texas Instruments' historic investment in Sherman. TI Sherman will have total direct economic impact of $435 million over 30 years. The total indirect impact will be $123 million, and the total induced impact will be $82 million.
Really, economic development is about helping your citizens. It's about improving our citizens' lives. And not only do we want to be focused on those amenities like parks and things like that, but we want to improve their lives on a daily basis, and that means having a good job.
At full production, the TI Sherman project will employ up to 3,200 direct, 2,300 indirect, and 1,500 in-jobs.
When you see partnerships and you see businesses coming to the area like a Texas Instruments, that just exponentially increases the opportunity for growth.
So the day this was announced, it put Sherman on the map, it put Texas on the map, it put the U.S. on the map in the world as a leader in this space.
One of the things we think that a larger impact that TI is going to have is serving as a catalyst. Just by having that sheer volume, that monumental production plant here, it's going to cause some strategic investment from other companies, other big strategic investments in this semiconductor industry space.
Then in June 2022, Global Wafers USA announced Sherman had been selected over South Korea and Ohio for a $5 billion 300mm wafer production facility. This project will create 1,500 jobs and provide silicon wafers for chip companies including TI, Intel, Samsung, TSMC, and many others. The Texas Instruments project will seed our economic landscape with many future opportunities and create a higher standard of living for current and future generations.
Texas Instruments has been a critical part of our local economy for decades. We're grateful for what impact they've already had in our community, and we're glad they've decided to stay and expand and really invest in Texoma and the future of our region.
How we see Texas Instruments and their project is they're really kind of an accelerant for the growth that was already coming. The size of the project is going to be one that, as we expand our infrastructure, is going to benefit the entire community.
I'm excited to see a partner in the area as Texas Instruments that has a great history, a great legacy. And so we're looking to not only grow as a school system, but also increase in the areas of career and technology that really align with what Texas Instruments already does.
This is one of those projects that's a legacy project. This project is going to change the face of not only our city, but of our state for years to come.
It's a diversity. I mean, our economy is continuing to diversify, but it's been diversified. Man, it's just a great time to live in Sherman and Grayson County. It really is.